Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 20th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Uh, More or less got that lasagna today, no leftovers. It was good. It was really busy though. I'm finding this habit that when I'm like taking the Friday off, I can kind of come back and it can kind of be like bedlam. Well, it's one of two things. Either everything's nice and hunky dory, there was no problems, it was a slow Friday, no hassles, or you come in and it's wall to wall, there's cardboard everywhere, and I got to get to it. So that was the day. It was the latter. But overall, we got it done, or at least did what we could. Let's see here. Food corner from last night actually was pretty good. We finally went back to cooking at home, which was nice. I made like a cheesesteak on a bolillo roll, and then I also put it on a bagel as well, and it was very yummy with a side of fries, whole lot of fries. And I guess I'd say it was crinkle cut fries. I will say those aren't my favorite, but sometimes people think that they are because I like always post pictures with crinkle fries. The answer to that is because they're very cheap. You can get like 5 pounds of them things for I don't really remember the exact price, but it's generally affordable and better than like buying like smaller packages of fries that maybe are like better. So usually when they have those, I just buy a big old bag of crinkle cut fries and work those down for about like I don't know, usually like 2 weeks. I feel like I get through a bag like that fast. I don't know, slow depends on who you are, what's your family size. Let's see, other random food that I ate actually today. Had a big snack and had two little White Castle sliders at work with my cheese puffs. I don't know really what compelled me to do that. I kind of had a little bit of a hankering for White Castle, and that's like the best way to kind of slate it without having to like spend White Castle money. Because sadly, sliders are not cheap anymore. It's pretty bummer time. Anyway, enough about food and my precious little life. Let's go ahead and do the startup and get into some news. Do 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 do. Ooh wee. Ooh. Okay. From the Associated Press, Iran's I can talk, I swear. Iran's president and foreign minister die in helicopter crash at moment of high tensions in Mideast. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister were found dead Monday, hours after their helicopter crash in fog, leaving the Islamic Republic without two key leaders as extraordinary tensions grip the wider Middle East. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who has the final say in the theocracy, quickly named a little known vice president as caretaker and insisted the government was in control. But the deaths mark yet another blow to a country beset by pressures at home and abroad. So yeah, I mean, they don't have the exact cause. We may never know. It looks like it was most likely weather related. They were like trying to get under the weather, and instead of maybe saying, hey, we should just actually like dock it, stop, go back, whatever, they said, no, we'll just go under and we'll be all right. And it looks like maybe that was the cause, or it might have been some kind of mechanical malfunction there. There is potential conspiracy rumors that maybe it was Israel, though no one on either side of the conversation is really saying that. Also, I know I said previously that it was like confirmed they made contact, and I was like kind of kicking my own ass, like, okay, did I cover that wrong? What the fuck? I don't know what I read, but apparently that was just something that kind of happened, and it was like not, well, I guess I should say like misinformation. They just hadn't confirmed it. It just kind of hit the airwaves like that, and then it was confirmed by Iran, like, no, we just made contact with it, like we found the helicopter. So a little different there. Obviously unfortunate, to hear that like everyone died in the crash. Let's see here. I did want to get to my little highlighted portion real quick, unless I lost it. I might have. Okay, I found it. For now, Khomeini has named the first vice president, Mohammed Makbar, as caretaker in line with the constitution. The election for a successor was to be held on June 28th. IRNA said Raisi's funeral was to take place in Mashhad, the city where he was born, on Thursday, with other funerals to be held on Tuesday, state TV said. Now, I will say, I mean, the things I've learned about Raisi are not surprising, but also not inspiring. You know, his come up as like a prosecutor, more or less sentencing political prisoners to death. In a highly religious conservative kind of situation. Obviously, I'm not excited about that. That definitely bums me out to hear. So, how do I feel about it stuff? Obviously, I guess nothing really. And, obviously, it's a bummer to die, period. And especially all the people involved. I don't know. It's definitely like, right. It's just one of those situations where it's like, I don't know whether to give flowers or tomatoes on this kind of fucking thing. But yeah, definitely I'm just going to stick to the mantra of just don't get in a helicopter. Just don't do it. Especially if you have an old ass helicopter like the one they were on. I know they talk about it in the article, but they kind of like trace some things back to like how the sanctions kind of affect things like this, where it's like they can't actually maintain these things to the best of their ability. Of course, I'm thinking like, damn, we got planes going down in America when we're using top of the line Boeing parts and shit, right? So who knows? Nobody's safe really, but yeah, just wanted to give the update, and there we go. I feel like I spent a little too long on this already, so let's go ahead and move along. From The Guardian, DRC Army says it stopped attempted coup involving 3 U.S. citizens. Yo, I'm loving when there is a coup, and then you get into the details of said coup, and you can almost find like a handful of Americans in there, and it's like, I wonder what do they got? What are those guys doing there? It shouldn't be there, right? What are they doing? Influencing a potential coup or big, national movement? What are they doing there? What's up with that? Anyway, but let's get into the story. The leader of an attempted coup on Sunday in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC, has been killed and about 50 people, including 3 American citizens, arrested. A spokesperson for the Central African country's army told Reuters. Gunfire rang out around 4 a.m. in the capital of Kinshasa, or Kinshasa? I'm not sure. A Reuters reporter said. Armed men attacked the presidency in the city center, according to the spokesperson Sylvian Inkage. Another attack took place at the nearby home of Vital Kamerhe, a member of parliament who is tipped to become speaker. Kamerhe's spokesperson Michel Moto Muhima and the Japanese ambassador said in posts on Twitter/X. Let's see here. Just gonna go ahead and read a quote. Malanga was definitively neutralized during the attack on the Palais de la Nation, a certain Abu Bakr was neutralized during the attack on the residence of Vital Kamerhe. The others, around 50, including the 3 Americans, were arrested and are currently undergoing interrogation by the specialized services of the armed forces, Inkage told Reuters. I also believe that he said Malinga first attempted a border coup in 2017, and that one of the American citizens arrested was Malanga's son. So apparently this was also like a family affair. Maybe he had been like raised in America or some shit like that. I don't really know the details. But yeah, this was a development I heard at the top of the day, and I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and, put that update in there. Could have just been another coup that took place. I know we've covered a few of those that have happened in Africa, a few countries. So, I personally feel like it's a good thing that this got thwarted. I don't know. But yeah, still an interesting happening. So I figured I'd, just go ahead and yap about it for a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to pull. No, I think we're good. I know there's details, but you can always look that up yourself. Feel free. I won't stop you. Anyway, from KTLA 5, LA's very own. Man steals LA police vehicle with officers still inside. A chaotic and violent situation unfolded in downtown Los Angeles early Sunday morning when a man stole an LAPD patrol vehicle with the officers still inside before causing a multi-vehicle pileup. The incident occurred around 3:30 a.m. when, according to police, a female officer was conducting security detail at 12th and Figueroa Streets. Excuse me. At some point, the suspect approached her, got into her vehicle, and drove off. LAPD Lieutenant James Malinakis told KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos. The officer was ejected from the SUV and fell onto the road. I don't know how you get into a situation where you are literally getting GTA'd by a civilian, but that's what happened, I guess. The suspect sped away northbound on Figueroa Street, where he collided with at least two vehicles at the intersection of 8th Street and then crashed into a pole. He then tried to run from the scene but was quickly apprehended. Several people, including the officer, sustained injuries, although none appeared to be life-threatening. So that's the good news there, is that no one was seriously injured or hurt. Though I do not know what's the angle. I'm sure, yet again, if we look into this, we're going to see mental illness was maybe involved or something like that, because I don't understand how you're just going to be like, hey, cop car, I should do a joyride in there. Look, I'm all for a cab, but that's pretty extreme, especially just on a lark, on a whim. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was something that was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say cool, but I'm definitely down to yap about that for sure. Now, a pretty bummer update that I wanted to go ahead and just run through real quick. I don't think I'm going to get into too many details about it, but I will say trigger warning, domestic abuse, physical assault, even sexual assault. Might talk about that a little bit. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, from the Associated Press, Diddy admits beating ex-girlfriend Cassie, says he's sorry, calls his actions inexcusable. Sean Diddy Combs admitted that he beat his ex-girlfriend Cassie in a hotel hallway in 2016 after CNN released video of the attack, saying in a video apology he was truly sorry and his actions were inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now, the music mogul said in a video statement posted Sunday to Instagram and Facebook. The security video aired Friday shows Combs wearing only a white towel, punching and kicking Cassie, an R&B singer who was his protege and longtime girlfriend at the time. The footage also shows Combs shoving and dragging Cassie and throwing a vase in her direction. Also, it stated that she was trying to get away from him while he was sleeping. Previously, he had punched her and I believe sexually assaulted her. I'm not 100% sure on that last part. But needless to say, this was caught on the hotel footage. But Diddy paid them, I think, a substantial amount of fucking money. Let's see if I can find it here in the article. $50,000. So yeah, the suit alleges that Combs paid the hotel $50,000 for the security video immediately after the incident. Neither he or his representatives have addressed that specific allegation. CNN did not say how it obtained the footage. Now, maybe some people might be like, okay, well, he apologized. That's something. That's a start. Yada yada yada. But I think most people, if not maybe all people, I don't know who's devil's advocates out there really saying that yet. But at the end of the day, he's only saying this because the video was aired. Previously, he had denied all these allegations. When Cassie had put the lawsuit up in November, he immediately, settled out, but did not, claim any responsibility, did not have any apology, said, hey, none of this shit is true. It's all unfounded. And now he's saying this specific situation that we have video evidence for, okay, I'm sorry about that. I fucked up. I went to therapy. I've grown. I realized how fucked up that was, and da 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 da. But like, it's just one, too little, too late, and two, something you were only saying because once again, there is actual evidence that is disproving what you're saying. Cassie's lawyer, who is also representing others who are potentially trying to put up claims against Diddy, more or less is saying like, yeah, like this apology doesn't mean anything. Like we're not feeling this shit. You're only saying this shit because there's actual evidence, and you're not admitting to any other of the things that we are accusing you of. So yeah, I think another unfortunate thing about this is there going to be any charges? It's looking like no. A lot of these law enforcement, they're saying, hey, there's a statute of limitations. We don't really think we like have a case here, so it doesn't look like it at the moment. But we do know that they've raided his home. Up until a point, it seemed like Diddy was on the run. It doesn't seem like he's on the run now. Now he's back and doing apology videos and shit. I guess to try to inject some fucking levity here, please forgive me, but I would say his apology is at least better than Colleen Ballinger's, only because he did not bust out the ukulele. So there was that. But still a piss poor apology. I don't think anyone was feeling that shit. I keep hearing more rumblings that they're trying, that there are people rushing to get the rights to like Diddy Do It, essentially a documentary expose about these fucked up things that Diddy is making the rounds for right now. So yeah, figured I kind of low key wanted to do this in like a Patreon kind of thing, just because it wasn't like a legal thing. But at the same time, I was like, nah, I'll just make room for it. I'll just go ahead and talk about it on main. Why not? So yeah, there's that. I'm pretty bummed now, so I wanted to go ahead and do my last break. We're gonna go ahead and take that, and then we'll get into a story that is a little bit more feel good. So hold on to your butts for that. Mm. Okay. Ooh. From NPR. At age 90, America's first black astronaut candidate has finally made it to space. Ed Dwight, the man whose 6 decades ago nearly became America's first black astronaut, made his first trip into space at age 90 on Sunday, along with 5 crewmates aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. Whew. The liftoff from a West Texas launch site marked the first passenger flight in nearly 2 years for the commercial space venture run by billionaire Jeff Bezos. Jeffrey Bezos. The approximately 10-minute suborbital flight put Dwight in the history books as the oldest person to ever reach space. He beat out Star Trek actor William Shatner for that honor by just a few months. Shatner was a few months younger when he went up on the New Shepard rocket in 2021. So overall, I thought this was really cool. Sadly for Dwight, he was like a top candidate, but more or less just kind of paraphrasing from his words, he just like said like the way they looked at me, it was like I wasn't black enough. I think he said something about like he wasn't tall enough, things of that nature. And what he meant by like the not black enough thing was like he's of a lighter skin, and it's like, hey, for the first person, I maybe, and this is just maybe from his feeling and perspective, just like, hey, they wanted someone who was like black, so that way they can really say they're doing something, not half stepping or anything of the sort. But either way, he felt extremely passed over. Inevitably, this was something that he, even though he was like a very promising person in the Air Force, aeronautics, he goes on to do other things. He becomes an amazing sculptor, which is really fucking cool. After leaving the Air Force, Dwight went on to become a celebrated sculptor, specializing in creating likenesses of historic African American figures. But going to space was something that was still like really big on his heart. He said like, hey, I had rationalized up until this moment, like when he took the flight that I didn't need this. It wasn't something that I needed, but I realized that I did. And it seems that he wants to go back so bad. He definitely wants to go back into space again. Dwight told NPR he was ready to go again. I want to go into orbit. I want to go around the Earth and see the whole Earth. That's what I want to do now. So, I mean, hey, I'm glad he got to get his bucket list scratched off. I think that's really fucking cool. Also, I think it's really great that despite the fact that he missed an opportunity to make history, he got to make history this way. So that's pretty cool. And he got to live a dream. I think no matter who you are, no matter what race, color, creed, you can definitely understand that feeling of just being like, man, I'm finally going to get a chance to like write this and get to live this moment that I wanted to live. Even if it's just a little bit. Like, yeah, he just got to experience weightlessness and like, you know, just like the bare minimum. But you know, that's something. It's better than not getting it. I totally understand. So hell yeah to that. Flowers to him. And definitely check out, look up more of his like sculptures and works. It's very cool. And if you want to learn more about the story, I would suggest it because it's very interesting. You know, Black History isn't just on February, y'all. That sounded really corny, but I'm going to keep it in. I don't give a fuck. It's true. Anyway, I have one more thing to cover. I know I'm just kind of cramming it in. I won't keep you too long. From the Associated Press, war crimes prosecutor seeks arrest of Israeli and Hamas leaders, including Netanyahu. The chief prosecutor of the world's top war crimes court sought arrest warrants Monday for leaders of Israel and Hamas, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, over actions taken during their 7th-month war. Also, notable mention is Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Now, I mean, this might and most likely will be more symbolic than anything. I don't think they're going to be putting cuffs on Netanyahu. Was it Yahya Sinwar, who's the leader of Hamas? I know his name's in here somewhere. I really didn't want to like get in the weeds about this. I really just wanted to mention it. Because we'll see what happens. This is yet to even be approved yet. This is just something that the chief prosecutor is putting in. But it's relevant. Just like with South Africa, you know, launching the claims of, you know, war crimes, atrocities, and shit against Israel. It's just showing that, like, now more than ever, the sentiment against what is going on, you know, in Gaza, in West Bank, you know, to the Palestinian people, it's atrocious. And people have had just enough of it. It's just on such a massive scale. We're literally talking just a full-out ethnic cleansing genocide. Not that it hasn't been happening since October 7th, but it's just happening at such a fast clip that it's just so undeniable to people. You just can't look away and just say or do nothing. I know, like, shit, even Turkey is like saying, hey, we're like, city, we're not doing business with you guys. We're stopping trade relations. Like, that shit's happening. Something I kind of haven't really covered. It kind of went through the cracks. But in a way, it just adds to the point I'm trying to make here at the end of this. That being said, why I don't want to, like, stay on it is because do I think it's actually going to be relevant and make a change? I don't know. We'll see. This is just the start of a process as well. So I really didn't want to get too in the weeds about it. But there you go. That's pretty much it. I actually did pretty good. I'm actually happy with myself. I'm patting myself on the back right now as we speak. Okay, cool. Awesome. If you'd like to pat me on the back with some dollar bills, I would love that. I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Also, feel free to follow me, find me or the podcast on any of the socials. Let's see. Please subscribe to YouTube. Please. Really helps out a lot. I'm trying to get those numbers up. Really helps out for the algorithm. Things that also help, hitting that like button, leaving a cool comment. If you're on another listening platform and you're like, how else can I help? Hit that on the Spotify. Hit all the stars, all of them, max them out. You can leave a comment in the Q&A, I think. Sharing is caring, no matter what platform you're on. It can be fun. Try it out. See what happens. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.